Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Leadership Lounge podcast. If you haven't seen us already, we are a podcast to make you stop and think about your leadership journey. And we have some amazing people with amazing stories and experts in their field joining us. And we are adding value to a future-focused leader, a community of like-minded people. And if you haven't already, make sure and you're watching us, make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make sure you, if you're listening to us, you follow us on your podcast provider. And every Wednesday at 6 a.m, we've got amazing people joining us. So today we're speaking to Tom. How are you?
I'm delighted to be here. Thanks, Stuart.
Well, there's a bit of a funny story behind this, isn't there? So me and Tom were due to catch up. I met Tom at a sporting club event down in London a few weeks ago. The sporting club founder is coming on in a couple of weeks in Stafford. And we were due to have a catch up. And I literally sprung this on Tom, and I'll let him put his perspective over in a second, about all the stuff I'm interested in, about how he's got to where he is now, what he's doing in the future, how this has come about. So I thought, well, this would be a great podcast guest, or an episode. So this never happened before. So thank you, Tom, for agreeing to this. So let's just go for it. So Tom, as I hit the 20-minute timer, for the people who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your business is, and we'll dig into it a little bit deeper.
Well, there will be a lot of people who don't know who I am. So I'm Tom. I run a startup company called Tzuka, and we've engineered the ultimate workout earbuds. It all started whilst I was at university. Me and my gym buddy, we broke 9 pairs of earbuds. And we were like, this is ridiculous. Let's go and buy a pair of earbuds that are made for more extreme sports. And from there, we've gone on to kind of develop what we believe are the ultimate workout earbuds. We've done 3 rounds of funding, and yeah, we're kind of preparing now for our mass manufacture stage. So it's kind of gone from a pipe dream where my parents have told me, don't do it, this is very silly, to raising over £500,000, lots of grant funding, and yeah, becoming a reality now. Amazing.
And again, like, I meet people every now and again at networking and events across the UK, and I think I want to find out more about that person and open up a network of like, how can I help people and connect people? So again, putting you on the podcast is another great example of how we can share your story. So there's several questions I have. So tell us a little bit about the journey so far, like some of the ups, some of the downs. What would you pick?
Yeah, ups and downs are frequent. It's we had a graph in the office where we would track how we felt on a kind of weekly basis. That very quickly changed to a daily basis, and that very quickly changed to an hourly basis, because the highs and lows of starting a business are just insane. And you can have one call with an investor where you suddenly get an investment in and it's fantastic, and the next email you get in is from your product guy saying there's been a delay. So it's just insane. And I remember starting the business and I would cycle to work every day. And once every kind of 3 weeks, I think, oh my goodness, Tom, what are you doing? Like, this is just insanity. You're taking on the big boys here. You've got a geography degree. You're not even an engineer. This is just way too much to handle. And over the last kind of 3 to 4 years, I'm now cycling into work. And well, now I think, oh my goodness, actually, you've done it. And you're now at a stage where you have a model in hand, you're going through the testing, and if that works, and you've got the kind of cash in the bank ready to start mass manufacture. So
amazing. Yeah. So where's that drive come from?
Yeah, drive, stupidity, stubbornness.
That's another way of putting it.
Yeah. Talking to, really, I've always been one of those people who, when they start something, they kind of stick at it, and they don't want to be proved wrong. And there's been some incredibly tough times. I mean, when I first started the business, I never would have predicted I would go through a pandemic, a recession, a war, cost of living crisis. I mean, this is kind of what we describe as generational events that have all happened in the last 3 years. So that's definitely put a twist on it, let's say. And I'm just kind of thankful to my original backers who invested in me 3 years ago, and they kind of still support me to this day. Because now we went from a stage of we took 7 months to close our first investment round. Whereas now we're in a stage where we get investors getting in touch with us and asking to put their cash in, which is just phenomenal and shows kind of where we've come and what we're doing, which makes things so much easier and kind of gives you that confidence just to keep on going.
Yeah, I want to pick your brains on that, because I'm in a lucky position now where I get involved in, not investment myself, but we are able to introduce people to investors, because we've had them on the podcast and my network and connections. But there's lots of differing stories about the right fit, the right time. So what for you? There might be budding entrepreneurs, people in leadership listening to this and going through that. And I feel, because I've not been sort of in it for a long time, and it's quite new to me, it seems to be something that you sort of have to get involved with and learn by just sort of hanging on, if you like, and learning by failing, which is obviously we know that's a good way of learning, and not giving up. But what has been your sort of experience, learning moments to sort of share with the audience?
Yeah, sure. So when we first started, we had an Excel spreadsheet, which was a traffic light system. So red for people that you've spoken to that weren't interested in investing, orange that they may invest, and green that they had invested. And by the end of our first investment round, which, as I said, was 7 months long, it was just a sea of red. I mean, you could scroll in this Excel sheet for ages and it was all reds, but we had 2 greens, and that's all we needed to kind of close that investment round. But you need to have, people always want to see more. So many people we spoke to say, we want to see this, we want to see that. And you're kind of at a stage where, well, I've got no money. Like, this is my first start. I need something to get me going. We had one investor now who's an investor who basically said, look, I like what you're doing and I will invest, but I just want you to hear a lot of no's first before you get my money, basically. So
interesting.
Yeah, but it also made me kind of realize you perfect your pitch. A tip that I would say is talk to people who you don't think will invest first, because they will ask you all the nasty questions and you can really kind of optimize what you're saying. So when you do talk to the people who are slightly more likely to invest, you've nailed it and you've had all the hard questions. But it's a process of failing, getting back up and going again, really.
Yeah, well, what's your mentality and mindset around, because I've got a couple of connections through the sporting club and the IOD, young entrepreneur tech startups. What's the mindset and the connection between obviously having funding? Because again, it's alien to me. Our business is sort of, I would say, 50-50. Getting that sort of the passion and the drive, knowing that you're on something and you're having to almost forward plan, because obviously that funding doesn't get paid back straight away. So how do you, as a founder and the owner of the business, sit with that, of taking all that money in and having the pressure of almost delivering? How does that come across?
Yeah, it's really hard. It is really hard. I mean, there's EIS, which for those that don't know is a kind of tax initiative to help investors early, so they get some kind of risk benefit from that, from their tax side of things. But it is really hard. I mean, a lot of angel investors and the good ones know that it is a risk. They know what they're doing is risky. It's one of those things where they may invest in 8 companies and one may be successful. So the good ones know the risk that they're doing. It doesn't make a difference to you as a founder, because obviously you want yours to be successful. And if you know that 7 are going to fail, you've got to kind of put the work in to make sure that you're the one that's successful. It's one of those, you have to disassociate yourself to a certain kind of thing. I mean, talking to my friends and family, they've kind of said I've become emotionally inept when it comes to business. I mean, I could get emails in and it would be fantastic news, and I would just treat it as anything else, just because I know that something else is going to come and slap me in the face. And the other way around, as I get slapped in the face, I know that by still working, I will get some success at some point. So, and you go through these highs and lows, and the highs and lows, they could be an hour, they could be 3 weeks. I mean, you go through really good times, really bad times. I had a really bad time kind of coming up to the Christmas this year, but that's the whole point of having a community around you. So I'm based in a startup lab at Loughborough University, and we're full of loads of fantastic kind of startup entrepreneurs, and we all support each other. We've all go through horrendous times. You might get someone come in one day, hoodie on, they don't want to talk to anyone, and you say, hey, look, come, let's have a chat, because you know what's going on, and most of the time you've already been through it.
Yeah, amazing. I love that. And I can resonate with some of the stuff that you're saying then as well, about it's a roller coaster, isn't it? twists and turns, ups and downs. I say that all the time when I share my story. So tell me about the business. So what does the business look like today?
It looks very different from when we first started, actually. So as a company, we've, as I said at the start, we've developed the ultimate kind of workout earbuds. They're the first in the world to achieve an impact resistance rating. They're dustproof, shockproof, waterproof. They've been designed to be as tough as whatever your workout, effectively. But we've also put on the earbud storage. So the user can upload their own music and podcast directly to the earbuds. So it allows them to use it underwater. They can use it without a phone. There's total freedom, basically. And then, of course, there's no compromise with anything you'd expect from other top-end earbuds. So you've got all Bluetooth, top of the range battery life. So yeah, there's no compromises there.
So from all the stuff you're saying there, am I right in saying that that is very unique to the industry? So waterproof. How have you managed to get to that nobody else is offering? Because that, from when I saw that at a sort of like a high level, seeing your website, chatting to you quickly at the event we were at, I was thinking, wow, that's impressive. How have you managed to get to that in the end? You said obviously geography degree, engineering. How do you get to that level of being able to produce something like that?
Hard work, dedication, and working with people that are cleverer than you. Yeah, outsourcing. Everything we do is designed, engineered, and manufactured in the UK. So we're the only earbud brand to do that, and we work with some fantastic partners. Really, the Manufacturing Technology Centre, based in Coventry, and then Newbury Innovation, who are based in Newbury, and we use their skills, their expertise, and what we've created. There's a lot of earbuds out there that are waterproof, but of course you can't use them underwater. Through our patent pending technology, it's basically allows the internal is where all the durability is. So you have the plastic on the outside, and you can't really get through that. Whereas with other earbuds, the waterproofing is basically like a spray-on coat, and the more you use it, you wear it away, and suddenly you can get sweat ingress. So yeah, we've done some really cool stuff. We haven't launched just yet, so I'm not going to talk about it in huge depth. That could be for the next podcast, Stuart.
Yeah, exactly. So am I right in saying that there's no other current ear devices that you can store on without having something like your phone connected? Is that correct, or am I wrong in that?
There are a few out there, but most of them are huge, massive, chunky things, and they don't offer a Bluetooth connection as well. So we offer both. So you can stream music from your phone through Spotify, Apple Music, and then you can double tap, you turn on the MP3 mode, and suddenly you can turn your phone off, you can leave your phone in the locker room, you can use it underwater, whereas all of the earbuds won't work underwater unless they've got onboard storage, because Bluetooth won't go. So yeah, it's the first kind of true wireless.
I love that. Are you going to be able to hold 100+ episodes of the Leadership Lounge podcast on these earbuds?
I very much hope so. I'm not a mathematician, but it's 60 hours of storage, so it's a time.
I think that's enough. So what's the future hold for you? Where are you going? Like that trajectory? What's the plan?
Great question. So the plan is, of course, to launch and do a successful launch. We've got some fantastic connections with elite athletes, as I said, based at Loughborough University. We had, I think, 3 Olympians get involved with our initial videos and photos, which haven't been released yet. But the plan really is to go global. We're in an industry which is global. Earbuds are known from Qatar to Australia, really. We've got a V2 in the pipeline already. Spoke to the electronic guys, and they've said, look, it will be kind of a fraction of the cost of what you put in already, because all the hard engineering's done. Headphones, and then we've got some IP licensing opportunities as well in different markets. So yeah, it's very, very exciting.
Excellent. So I know you were very tentative about coming on the podcast because it's obviously the Leadership Lounge, and it's sometimes like, do you identify yourself as a leader right now?
Probably yes and no. I see myself as a conductor. Okay. So I see myself as someone who pulls the strings to make sure all our partners work together in harmony. And there's a lot of times where it's not harmonious because things happen, delays happens, as I said, pandemic, war, all that kind of stuff. Do I see myself as a leader? Yes, I do, but I would like to be better at it.
Okay. What do you mean? Let's dig into that. What would you like to be better at?
I like to push myself a bit more, and I think that's coming. Our next kind of steps really are hires, full-time hires into the company. So that's kind of my definition of leadership, would be having people work directly under you, not as a partner, but as a full-time employee.
Yeah.
That's where I think we'll start to see my flaws and faults. And if we haven't already, to be honest, if you talk to
Yeah, but I love that though, because I know that you've I know you've listened to quite a few episodes of the podcast since we connected up. So 2 questions really. Have you got anything that stuck out from the episodes that you've listened to? But also 2, kind of, what sort of leader do you think you're going to be? So I know there's 2 big questions there. So off you go.
Yeah, confidence has always stuck out, and being confident in a leadership role. I think I have that. I think I've, through my business journey, have been forced to become extroverted, be a good speaker, good communicator, massively important. And that comes through with the podcast as well. What kind of leader do I think I'm going to be? I mean, if anyone doesn't say a good one, then obviously they're lying. I'd love to be a fantastic leader, but it will take time. It will take skills. I'm very happy to kind of get training on this kind of stuff. I don't think it's something that you can just kind of get through photosynthesis. I think you really need to work on it, and there is potentially an expertise to it. Of course, a lot of it's depending on your personality. I've been told that I have a personality for leading, which has been very nice, but it's yet to be proven. So there's that in the pipeline.
So how much thought process are you putting into the hiring process? Because we talk to clients and individuals all the time about it is a skill that people learn over failing, getting it right, wrong, etc. What sort of people do you think you're going to need? Is it more, because you said about the engineering, the process of the product, and the conductor that you currently are? Do you need process, or do you need inspiring marketeers, sales? Because obviously hopefully you'll need all of them at some point. But where are you going first?
Yeah, we will effectively become a marketing company with our own product. That's where we'll be. And I've been very lucky to have a number of advisors, investors that have helped me out on this journey as well. So one of my advisors, he said that he will jump on the interview stage. He's interviewed for huge companies in the past. So it's fantastic to have someone like that to help me out. And he's been fantastic throughout the journey as well. And then one of my other investors as well, he actually runs a recruitment agency. So he's helping me on that side of things. And both of them are fantastic in the sense that they don't want paid for this or anything like that. And it's all to make the business succeed, which is what we want.
I like that. And again, I can resonate, because it's that whole saying, isn't it? Your network is your net worth. And it's that kind of those people and those rooms you surround yourself, that you put yourself in. I love all those sort of, because it's so true. I've been through that, and I can resonate with some of the things you're saying about just getting yourself out there and speaking to people. And one of the reasons why I thought it'd be great to just get you on and start talking on the podcast as well. So we've got a couple of minutes left. How do you still find time to take some time out? What do you do? Because I know that it's consuming and it's everything, isn't it? There's not enough time in the day. What do you do to take that break? I call it brain fog. I kind of get like, I need to just get out, because I come from a background of sport and not sitting behind a computer. So how do you take some time out?
Yeah, sports is the way for me. Going to the gym usually pretty much every day. Fantastic group of friends that I can talk to in the gym and just discuss everything. A lot of them always want to ask how the business is going, and a lot of the times I say, not today. Like, then we just try and enjoy this time without talking about the business, because it is all consuming. One of my neighbors has got a Ring doorbell, and every time I go home I have to cycle past the house, and they came out recently and said, look, Tom, you haven't been home before 9:30 for the last 4 weeks. And I was like, yeah, no, I know that. And it is one of those things, but you sign up to it. I could talk for hours about just the kind of how much work you have to put in when you start a business, especially as a sole founder. But as I said, when you start a business, you know what you're signing up for. And I knew what I was signing up to. And you know what? I wouldn't change it at all. I love it. I love kind of the pressure of that side of things, constantly having to do things. I couldn't sit at home and watch TV or Netflix and all that kind of stuff. It's not who I am. There are days where I wish it was me, but overall, that's just not me.
So last question then, with your future focus, the development, how are you going to keep yourself learning, developing that lifelong learning journey? I know that you're listening to podcasts, taking that time, but what sort of things can you see that you're going to have to be accountable for doing in the future to make yourself the best leader you can be?
Yeah, sure. Podcasts are huge. Love listening to podcasts. On my cycle to work, either at the gym, all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of it will be forced. I think with the journey that we're on, I will be forced to take up leadership roles if everything goes well, of course. I think that is going to be the way forward. And if things do go well, then obviously I will be putting some kind of professional development into it as well, having support on how to become the best leader. And things may just fall into place, and I may be, as I said, forced to do things, which I'm quite happy to do, and it will make me do it.
Yeah, I love that. Again, it's a bit of an awkward question, that, isn't it? Because you don't know what you don't know, yes. But I know that you're that sort of person that will look for opportunities and take opportunities where they are. So, Tom, that's 20 minutes. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You know, I'm smiling because I'm so pleased we did this. Because it's come across really well from my perspective, really enjoyed it. And I know that I'm going to be excited about putting this episode in front of some people and in front of my audience. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and check out Tom's links. They'll all be in the podcast notes below. I'll be sharing this across social media, and make sure you connect up with Tom as well. If you've, and let us know how you can resonate with that journey. You might not be a solopreneur, sole founder, but you might be in a corporate leadership role that you can resonate with something like that. So make sure that you share that across our social media platforms as well. So Tom, thank you so much again.
Pleasure.
We're going to catch up after this, but I'm going to have to turn the podcast off. We're very strict with our 20 minutes. So ladies and gents, if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on your podcast provider. And at some point in the future, you're going to be having some of Tom's earbuds in your ears listening to this. Well, make sure we keep you up to date with the journey, and make sure we tell you when the launch is as well. So ladies and gents, I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye.